ladies and gentlemen, we gather here today to honor the memory of a dear friend and departed loved one. It has tried to bring much joy into our lives, and though it could not fulfill this by any means, it still gave it its all, and gave us many happy memories in order to look back upon. I am, of course, talking about the late, but hardly great, Battlefield 2042. Last week, with tears in their eyes, EA announced that they are ending support, and there will be no more seasons. While not the epitome of greatness, it still managed to leave its mark on our screens and in our memories. Like many things in life, it had its flaws and its imperfections, the size of a freaking Grand Canyon. But it also had moments of joy and entertainment that we shared together. As we reflect on its shortcomings, we cannot deny that it brought us a measure of enjoyment, despite its lackluster seasons and less than stellar maps. It may not have been anywhere near the masterpiece that we had all hoped for, and it shows what wasted potential can look like on a grand scale. But it had its moments of fun and excitement. Like launching my game on launch, and I can barely have a stable FPS, and I'm crashing every 5 minutes. Let us not forget the characteristics in this apocalyptic setting that, everything but apocalyptic and as flawed as they were, they had some amazing character development. Don't be sad, it just works out like that sometimes, they would say, reminding us of life's unpredictable nature. I'm not ever confident, I'm just better than you, they boasted, perhaps reflecting the competitive spirit that drove us to play. And who could forget the infamous, "That was something, right?" A phrase that encapsulated the game's ability to surprise us, for better or for worse. So, as we say goodbye to this digital disaster, let us remember the moments of laughter, frustration, and depression it brought into our lives. May we carry those memories with us as we move forward, knowing that even the most flawed experiences can leave a mark on our hearts. Rest in peace, Battlefield 2042. Though you may not have been perfect, you were ours. And for that, we are grateful. And DICE definitely will learn their lessons.
That's my genuine laughter. I actually laughed my ass off listening to that. Oh my fucking god. Okay.
Welcome, ladies and gentlemen, to the funeral service of Battlefield 2042, EA's grandest, hugest, steaming pile of wasted potential. God, I've been looking forward to this.
Oh my god, I was actually laughing my ass off listening to that. Try not to, laugh on the microphone.
It came from the bottom of my bowels.
Anyway, welcome to Battlefield 1 podcast, where we talk about Battlefield and only Battlefield. I hope you enjoyed this episode, because goddamn, it's going to be a spicy one today. Anyway, so first and foremost, big ups to the community who decided to reach out and give us a lot of feedback. Didn't like about 2042. Wait. Ray, that's later.
I know that's later, but I got to thank the people. We got to make sure that the people know that they are thanked very, very deeply for helping us out with this episode very greatly. So again, like we always say, the algorithm acquires engagement, and your guys' engagement drives us. So we thank you from that. Let's get that out of the way. That being said, to the notes, motherfucker!
Okay, so as usual with every episode, we do housekeeping, because we have to let you know that stuff is happening, and promote stuff. We need to do promotion and so on.
Yeah, we got to do some in-shop stuff.
Okay, first and foremost, let the less important thing get out of the way. So I am making a new podcast. It's already live on Spotify, and it's called Lockdown Player.
Yay!
This is a podcast where I talk about Call of Duty. The same energy that you have on Battlefield 1, the same energy that you see in videos, in my videos and everything. I basically talk about Call of Duty. Same as Battlefield 1, but about Call of Duty. So it's episode...
And there was much rejoicing.
Yeah, everyone go happy. So it's already on Spotify, on iTunes, or no, it's not iTunes, it's Apple Podcast, whatever you want to call them, and Amazon Music. So it's already out. Episode 1 is already out. So, and can any bus stop beeping in the background? Thank you, with their stupid cars. That would be great.
How professional.
Oh yeah, really professional. So, Lockdown Player, check out where I talk about Call of Duty. You'll instantly know it's me because you'll see the Lanky Soldier logo at the bottom. Go check out.
And I mean, how can you mistake that face? How can you mistake that everything? I mean, you can't miss it. You can't miss it.
Yeah. So the podcast is called Lockdown Player. Lockdown Player. Episode 1 is already out. Okay, we of course have time codes. So in the description, Spotify, YouTube, wherever you may be, everything's in the description. If you want to listen to a particular topic and so on, just click on the time code and it will guide you there. We understand that you don't have a whole hour to listen to the whole thing. We understand that. So time codes are there to help you out. And of course, we have a Google document where people give feedback and everything. So if you have any, comments, questions, anything that is on your mind, anything that comes to your mind, do let us know. The Google Forms document is there for a reason. You don't need an account. You don't need a social media. You don't need anything. You just click on the link that is in the description and you just give us the feedback, the questions or insults or compliments, anything that is on your mind. Let us know.
All you need is your typing fingers and one fleeting thought to send to us.
Yeah, leisure that. The point was to remove all the friction that you possibly could have in contacting us, and that's kind of it. It's Google Forms document is there for you to contact us and use it. Let us know. And also we have a couple of them, literally from all the comments we got, all the comments we got for this episode regarding this, came from that document. So let us know. And of course, last but not least, we do have a Patreon, patreon.com/TheLankySoldier, where we talk about, well, first and foremost, without a Patreon, I doubt we would be doing this podcast. I think that's a given. And 2, without the Patreon, I would not start another podcast about Call of Duty. And 3, you support us. It helps us to, keep the show going. It helps us with, every little helps. And we have 3 tiers. We have the silver tier, we have the gold tier, and the platinum tier. But for the time's sake, I'll talk about the silver and the gold tier. Silver tier is basically early access to this future episodes, ad-free. They're all, if you're listening this podcast on, well, if you're listening on Patreon, you will not listen to this bit anyway. But if you're listening this on Spotify, YouTube, or wherever, on Patreon, you don't have to listen to this bit. You get early access, ad-free. You just go straight to the podcast. You go straight to the topic that you want to listen.
Yeah, you get the opening joke, and then you get right to the meat and potatoes.
Yeah,
you don't get this whole 5 minutes of fluffware. Isn't it great?
Yeah, it's fantastic.
So there's incentives for subscribing.
Yeah,
loyal listener.
And that's only silver. And gold tier is basically all the important content. That's where me and Ray do our LGG Extra podcast, where we talk about video games, movies, anything that is on our mind, and I think is one of the best episodes we ever do. I mean, Ray, you can talk about it for a little bit if you want.
I mean, if you guys are wanting like completely uncut, unfiltered, not having to worry about the monetization algorithms, I mean, right there's where you go, buddy. You just get your fill out right there, because we just don't care.
It's
in these settings we have to be professional and nice, and then and in the Patreon we're kind of a little bit more laid back and it's a little bit more casual, so it's well worth the time. We get a little bit more in depth as far as things go. There's incentives for you. If you're down for that sort of stuff.
Patreon.com/TheLankySoldier. And here's a small clip of one of the latest episodes we did. I love that the first part of this episode is literally just us talking about toilet paper.
Yeah, but because it's rough for my ass.
That ass is being destroyed.
Oh, it's ecological toilet
Oh.
paper.
Yeah, that means check shit.
Yeah. I love it when it stays on my fingers.
I don't know, the way you say it was like, oh, I love it how it's on my fingers.
Kinky.
Should I name this episode literally the shitty podcast?
Yeah.
The shitty toilet paper podcast.
There's a toilet paper in Asda with like shit emojis.
No.
No, there is, and it's popular. I never bought it because I mean, it's not that expensive, but it's more expensive than mine.
By how much?
I don't know. It's like £3 for 4 rolls.
So wasn't that great? I mean, yeah, total stuff that you really actually absolutely want to, jump in and listen in on. So with that having been said, I do really want to get into this.
Yeah, okay. So patreon.com/TheLankySoldier. Subscribe, check out, and support us, because it does help. Right, Battlefield. Let's go to Battlefield. Oh boy, Battlefield. Okay.
Old friends.
Okay,
I mean,
here's the agenda for today, guys. So there's a lot of things to go through. So we're gonna talk about the news, little stuff that happened, in the last couple of weeks. We're gonna mention that, maybe 10-15 minutes. Let's see how it goes. And after that, we're gonna go through your comments, and then we'll explain what kind of comments we're going through, because a lot of you gave a lot of feedback, a lot of comments and everything, and we're gonna read all of that. But first and foremost, let's talk about something that happened in the Battlefield universe in the last couple of weeks. So, the most important thing, as you heard in the intro, in the funeral, EA announced that they are ending support for Battlefield 2042, meaning there will be no more seasons for that game. Ray was right about the quarters thing. So in the previous episode, Ray was talking about that usually they announce certain stuff in certain quarters. And I googled, I checked, Star Wars Battlefront 2 and Battlefield 5, when they announced their support is ending, it was literally at the start of a quarter.
Yep. So it wouldn't affect share price, it wouldn't affect earnings reports. And you know what's funny? That was something that I threw out there as like a 95% of assurance that I calculated that out. I didn't even really look at that. I mean, it just kind of all clicked in my head. And I mean, I don't relish that often in being right. I just have this ability to calculate shit sometimes. And, when it's always like, because that's what it comes down to at the end of the day. That's what gaming development is nowadays. It doesn't matter whether you have a product that has a good amount of potential behind it. And I mean, I'm knocking on the door here with a lot of things as far as, what we're talking about on this when I say these things. It doesn't matter anymore about what potential the product has for a lot of companies these days. It doesn't matter about the talent that's behind it anymore. None of that shit matters anymore as long as the share price is looking good. And this right here is another nail in the coffin of that point, saying that this shit needs to change. And it's not just in game. I mean, and I'll step up on this soapbox again. It's across a lot of industries these days, and it's fucking sad. So I'll step back down off of that soapbox and not get too much more involved in that. But if you do like hearing those type of rants, Patreon's all for you, not to plug that again. Yeah. But still, it's getting to be blatantly obvious now. Like, they're not even trying to fucking hide the facts anymore. They're not at all. It's blatantly obvious out there that it doesn't matter. The only thing that matters as far as the game goes itself is how well the damn thing sells. That's it. It doesn't matter really anymore how well it's reviewed. It doesn't really matter anymore how much of a retention it's holding. It doesn't really matter anymore what the development team can do for it. As long as if the money dries up on the shit and the share price starts going down as a result of it, then that's it. It's done.
Yeah.
And it's sad.
So originally, of course, with that announcement, you would imagine we were talking about, let's review Battlefield 2042, how it went in the last 2 years. But
really, what's the point?
But we'll do that.
We've been doing that.
Yeah, but we'll do that properly this time. But
we'll do it right. We'll do it with community feedback this time.
Well, we'll do it for the next episode, I guess. Or whatever. Because the reason is, even though they announced the support is ending and there will be no seasons, there's still stuff happening in Battlefield 2042 in the next couple of months. New modes and everything that they probably finished before this announcement.
It's back end stuff that they're tying up, and they're gonna drip feed out in order to kind of string it along a little longer. Let's not lie here. They're gonna keep it on life support. It's not dead. It's officially on life support right now.
Yeah.
Saying it's dead is when the plug finally gets pulled on all the damn servers.
And this week they added, last week they added the mode Frontlines finally. Do you remember Frontlines? Yep. I love that mode. Problem is, I haven't played it yet. I just like, after the announcement that Battlefield 2042 is being like, there's no more.
I have no urge. I have no will to anymore.
There was no urge from like, no matter how much I love Frontlines, I'm like, do I want to play? Because this week, for example, I didn't play a lot of games. Like this week, for the last 2 weeks, I was not playing a lot of games. So I'm really picky what I want to play in certain moments because, like, do I want to play Call of Duty or do I want to play something else? For example, there's an X-Defiant beta happening right now on Ubisoft. So I'm like, do I want to play that or do I want to play Frontlines, on Battlefield 2042?
I have my reasons, but here as of late, I've been like really, really itching to pick up New Vegas again.
Oh, you're one of those.
I just reinstalled that shit like 2 days ago. Like, I'm really wanting to fucking fire that up. And then I'll probably fire up Fallout 4 afterwards. So, I mean, fuck you guys.
You're one of those.
Joe is that good. Fuck you guys. Like, for real. It's like I'm like back in my Fallout kick again.
Yeah, Fallout is having a resurgence of players because of the show.
Oh my god, it's because the show, man, and the show is so fucking good. And that, but like, real quick side note, like, hey, game developers, Hollywood, that's what fucking happens when you do a property right. When you actually, care about the shit. And for those people, those New Vegas fanboys out there, and I apologize if you're one of them and you don't like my opinion on this, but take it from a Star Trek fan. Fucking get used to small things not being consistent. Seriously, just get over it. It happens. It's called creative writing. It needs to be done in some cases. Just fucking get over it. The show's great. Just enjoy it.
Is this the same thing that I talked about, like that TV shows or movies, whatever, should not be?
It's not really minute detail that Bethesda kind of just let go. It's kind of like, how do I put this without really like spoiling it? Bethesda is basically saying that there's like one canon ending right now because of an event and something going boom, and that's about as far as I'll go in the spoilerage goes. And it doesn't really overwrite New Vegas in the way that a lot of people are thinking it does. I mean, the location of the location is kind of got it fucked on that regard, but I can deal with that. You account timelines and everything else. It's not really that big of a deal. Like, I'm sure there's a reason behind what they did, and I'm sure it's going to be explored in Season 2, because that's already been announced as a thing. So, again, take it from a Star Trek fan and just get used to that type of shit. It happens.
You know what's funny? Okay, so we did patreon.com/TheLankySoldier. We talked about it. So we talked about it.
We did. We got heavy into this whole point because a lot, and this was before I even seen the show and all that other shit. So we were talking about the fucking show before it even came out, and like a lot of points that I like brought up is like, oh, well, I'm sure people would be pissed off about this. Like, I'm right.
Yeah.
Fucking.
But anyway, going back on Battlefield. So Season 7 will be the last season for 2042. And what gets to me the most...
Unlucky number 7.
Yeah, well, you know what gets to me? Okay, ignoring everything, right? Just ignoring everything. What gets to me? EA hired, and I'm not even kidding. I was told from good sources. EA hired and paid a lot of money for certain streamers, like outside the Battlefield community, like some streamers that play other games. They paid those streamers, and a good chunk of money, by the way, to promote and play Season 7 of Battlefield 2042. Now, I watched some of the streamers how they play. Obviously, they are confused as hell. They have no idea what they're doing. They don't know. They never played Battlefield game in their lives. Which,
if only there were some players out there who were good.
That's the point. The point is, I don't care. I don't care how bad you are at the Battlefield game. I'm not gonna be one of those guys like.
We're not even gonna get into that.
I'm not gonna go.
I mean, if you really, honestly, even to just touch on that one as marketing, if any of you idiots from marketing are listening, like, if you're going to get somebody to promote your product, at least make sure they can actually play your product.
Yeah, regardless. I'm not going to, judge that everything. That's not the point. The point is that EA paid a lot of money for these streamers to play the game, to promote the game.
And then did this.
Yes, to, like, you know what? We need to bring the, we can't, I understand why they're promoting with those streamers, because, like, Battlefield players will play this mode, this season anyway, because they're Battlefield players. So let's try to promote this game to other audience. Maybe they want to check out the Battlefield, I get that. I understand that. But as you do that, and then 2 weeks later, you announce that Season 7 is going to be the last season. I don't understand the optics.
That's some serious mixed message shit right there.
Yeah, so was this like call made in the last minute, or seems like from what I read and like the reactions now, it feels like it was like done instantly. No one actually had any idea, even the developers. They probably were thinking like, we still have season 8 and 9 maybe to go. This probably felt like it. So maybe it was decision literally done last minute, or maybe this.
What it sounds like to me is it was a last minute spreadsheet decision.
Maybe.
They looked at how much money they threw at streamers. They've been pumping into marketing, and they looked at the returns, or somebody got the return report in like too late. I guess they were supposed to get their job done before they started paying these streamers. I don't know. That chain of command operations would have made way more sense than the one that I'm thinking actually happened. And they just went, well, we're going to be at a net loss for this forever now. There's no way we're going to get people back. So we might as well just cut our losses and run. That is exactly what happened. I will put every dime I have and all of my honor on that. That's what it came down to. Somebody looked at it and went, "Yeah, we're never going to make money off of this. We're never going to be in a net positive. We're never going to get a net positive review. It's time to just pull the plug."
Maybe, I don't know. It's speculation on our end, but
I mean, think about it. There's been like no critical fucking acclaim for the game whatsoever at all. Let's be completely objective here. There has never been a point in this game's existence where I have ever seen the community or anybody, even some of the most positive YouTubers that are out there, quote unquote, never say anything that has been like this is groundbreaking or it's doing, like Portal was highly praised, but Portal is a whole different conversation in of itself of wasted potential. That is the saddest thing about this whole thing, is that never really saw what it should have been. Not even what it could have been, what it should have been.
Yeah, but
there's something that it should have been, which is at least something higher standards than what the fuck there is now that would have drawn people in. Saying no, you couldn't have XP at first was one of the fucking dumbest things you could have done. Sorry, I don't care that people can farm. Get over it. If people want to farm XP, then let them fucking farm XP if you're going to have an experience point-based system. People are going to figure out a way in order to farm. It's a thing that happens. Get over it. If you're going to put those type of mechanics in, people are going to farm.
Yeah, but it's a different topic entirely. But anyway,
it is. Yeah. But that, while we're on that, like then again, like the whole damn game is like that. Can be said of that. That it is just nothing but a just steaming pile of wasted potential. Yeah. I don't even think it was really development's fault. I think this is a game that came down to piss poor management.
That's what I've been hearing. Yeah. That's what I've been hearing internally from other people.
Yeah, it was trying to do too much all at once. It never, as the saying goes, a jack of all trades is a master of none. And that's exactly what 2042 is. It tried being so many different things in order to try and draw in so many different people. And, like, A for effort, yay. I mean, cool. But that's it. And it used to be that, you had your core modes, like your Conquest, your Rush, your Conquest, Rush, and what would you consider the third core mode for fucking Battlefield?
Breakthrough, I guess.
I mean, Breakthrough, but Breakthrough. I mean, that's kind of arguably an offshoot of Conquest.
No, Breakthrough is more like Rush, just with 64 players. Anyway,
true. So,
another point.
But at the end, I mean, realistically speaking, Battlefield comes down to two really core modes. Conquest, which is a constant rotation of capturing flags, and Rush, which is in a way of pretty much capturing flags and pushing up and changing a war.
I have a bad description.
Those are the two core main ways that Battlefield plays.
I have a bad description. One open sandbox game mode, and one is linear.
There you go. Yeah. That's an even better way in order to put it. Those are the two core ways that Battlefield... Now, here's the thing. Instead of taking and focusing in on, the sub-modes of those two core modes that did well, like Obliteration and war lines or operations, which I would say would be offshoots of the linear gameplay, and your team deathmatch, your Conquest, and your chain link, which again those are offshoots of Conquest. You could have focused in on that instead of Battle Royale and all the other fucking gimmicky shit that they tried jamming into this thing as a trend chasing thing. They never perfected any one thing in this game. So nothing stands out. It's just
Yeah, pretty much.
It's Doom 3's visual graphics and all of the visual graphics of the Call of Duty, original Call of Duty and Battlefield area. It's brown. It's
Okay.
bland.
We can talk about this for an hour, which that's what I want to do for the next episode. Like, we can talk about this forever. So, because we still have to go through loads of comments that we need to read through. So, we're gonna end that conversation here now for time's sake. But I'm
For
just
timing's sake, yeah.
Yeah. But we're gonna talk about this on the next podcast for sure. There's so much thing so many things to talk about, and we're gonna talk about on Patreon too. It's gonna be a lot to talk about. And just to close the news bit that happened in the last couple of weeks, Motive Studios are making a new team focused on Battlefield Singleplayer. And I'm just thinking to myself, okay, EA Motive. So what they did. So they did the Dead Space remake, or remaster, whatever you want to call it. They worked on Star Wars Battlefront 2 Singleplayer. And they made something else recently, I forgot. They're making an Iron Man game. So that's not announced. Well, announced, but nothing shown about it yet. And they made something else, I can't remember what. Basically, this is somewhat established studio at EA.
So, and they have a pedigree doing at least semi-decent single-player games.
Right. And I'm just thinking to myself, okay, so why the hell did you close Ridgeline Studios? And I'm just thinking to myself, okay, without being emotional and everything, I'm just thinking, okay, what's the reasoning here? So Marcus Leto left. You closed Ridgeline Studios that was supposed to make a single-player game for Battlefield 2042. Not for this game, for the next Battlefield game. But then you announced that Criterion is taking the reins and making a single player for the next Battlefield game. And then, like, what? Basically a month after that announcement that Ridgeline Studios is being shut down, there's an announcement that Motive Studios are making a separate team, focused on the Battlefield single player. So what this screams to me, they really, really need Battlefield single player to be in the next game, because they probably have some sort of plans to, the Battlefield universe or whatever that is. The thing we talked about for many years, right? That's what I'm thinking. They probably have some sort of internal plan they want to achieve. They want to meet those deadlines. But looks like they either don't have the resources to achieve that, or I don't know. I actually don't know. I'm just like thinking, why do you close Region Studio? You had a studio focused on making a single player game. You closed the studio down. Your creative director, the main lead that was supposed to, the granddaddy that was supposed to, sort your Battlefield universe, you close that studio and then you open another. You're basically hiring new developers to work on Motive Studios to do the same thing that you opened Ridgeline Studios in the first place. So, okay, that basically tells me, yes, EA wants this single player to be a thing. But I want to understand, okay, if they throw everything they can to make sure it's a thing, which is admirable, but I just don't understand what's going on.
All right, so what it sounds like, it's like a lot of consolidation. Like they're pulling a lot of people into one house. The thing is that stands on the argument of, well, that's what you guys get for divesting a lot of good studios in the first place. You guys had good single-player studios, and you guys decided to shut the fucking doors on them. And now here again, you're pulling everybody back in the same house. I would hope that's what's going on. In a way, I kind of really feel like there's some other fucky-wucky business nonsense going on here. It's not really anything to do with anything. They're probably pulling everyone together in order to shutter doors on operating costs for buildings and rental costs and things of that nature, or you know what I mean? There's other fuckery. Sorry, didn't mean to bash my mic. There's other fuckery at play here. It's not just what's on the surface.
Yeah, it's definitely something deeper than that. We just don't have the full context. We are just,
no, and we never will. There's no way.
Yeah, unless you literally work internally there with the executives. Wherever the
and those people are under an NDA, and I wouldn't. No. So like, it wouldn't surprise me anyway, but then again, like I said, that's more than likely what's actually happening. Now, at the end of the day, there could be a light at the end of the tunnel, even if that is the case. Then again, that means that they've consolidated all of their talent together, consolidated all of their talent together. Sorry about that. And it could potentially make for better product. It could make for better single-player games. I mean, if they really are interested in driving the single-player experience more, like they keep saying it, not really seeing it much. Yay, Star Wars, but...
I want to believe the next Battlefield Singleplayer is going to be good, but I just don't have any hopes, you know?
You know what I got to say? Here's what I got to fucking say about that, okay? Here's the dare, okay? If anybody in EA is listening right now, all right? I'm going to put this dare out right now. If you guys are really absolutely serious about the single-player experience, then give me Titanfall 3, motherfuckers.
What about Battlefield?
I'm putting the dare out there.
What about Battlefield Titanfall?
If that is, I'm dead serious. Fucking do it.
But anyway, that's regarding Battlefield Singleplayer.
Fuckers! I fucking dare you!
Yeah, that's Battlefield Singleplayer. We're gonna talk about it later. There's just so much to talk about. It's just insane.
I really do want a good Battlefield Singleplayer. I've been kind of groaning about it for years. It kind of needs it. It needs the context. It's been missing that. I think that's another thing that made 2042 fall flat on its fucking face. There was no context as to what the fuck you were doing in that game.
Oh, Ray, I actually tried to, and I tried to understand the story behind 2042. The factions and everything. My dude, it's so complicated for no freaking reason. This is some Marvel shit I do not like. I hope
it's beyond Marvel level shit.
Yeah.
I understand Fallout lore and Star Trek lore intimately, motherfucker. Metal Gear Solid lore, that alone should be saying some shit.
Yeah.
And 2042 is just blah.
I read all of it. I watched YouTube videos. The people pay attention to it and everything. I'm nah. I'm good, fam. I'm good.
I am going to stand by what I said. What I did say in another episode, though. I really, in a way, I kind of still want to believe they really did have a cinematic thing planned for that. And because the actor for Irish passed away untimely, like he did, I think that kind of put put the brakes on that. So, I'm kind of holding out hope that might have been a thing. If anybody could let me know if that was a thing or a planned thing or a thing that might have been, let me know.
Yeah, I will.
That would have been great. That would show me that they actually really did have, a good single player and plot plan for this game, and it just couldn't happen for some reason.
I would love to have somewhere, something, I don't know, given
just send me just send us an anonymous email and
anonymous
just be
email, please,
yeah,
just,
it was
to confirm that there was something planned properly, and maybe after that you know what, shit happens,
and when Michael passed away, and I get it, because I kind of really, in a way, because of everything beforehand, when he was still alive as an actor and they were still capable of shooting stuff, they seemed like they were really interested in doing at least a cinematic experience with it, and I would have been cool with that. Even if it would have just been okay, every season that comes out, we get a 15 to 20 minute video of something. You know what I mean? I kind of feel like that was planned to be there.
But you know what? Okay, I don't want to stay on this topic for too long, but I'm just gonna say this. You know what? Even with our actor passing away, I still think you could have done something. You could have done something.
They could have, yeah.
Yeah, just because an actor passes away, I know it's really sad and probably fucks up everything, but there's ways to do it. It's a creative business for a reason.
The only way it would have made sense was as if they really had everything revolve around Irish that hard, and him passing away, there was just no way they could have rewrote everything.
Well, maybe
I would understand that.
Unless, again, someone send an anonymous email, please, and let us know what.
Yeah, just confirm or deny it, please. One of the two.
Yeah, I just want to end the Battlefield 2042 on some positive note.
I just need that closure.
Yeah, I need closure. Okay, so. The meat and potatoes of this podcast. I can't believe we've actually been talking for half an hour. Bloody hell. So, on Twitter, I asked everyone, after 2042 being announced that it's ending support, I asked on Twitter, realistically, what Battlefield needs to do for you to be decent next year? What would Battlefield needs to do for you to be considered decent? So I asked that question on Twitter, and to my surprise, we got so many replies, so many retweets and likes. We could not possibly go through all of them for an episode unless it's a 3 hour long episode. So
I mean, there is, like we said at the top of the episode, like there was so much feedback on that, and like, man, you guys, it's great, man. I love it when you guys actually come through with stuff like this. It makes us feel all warm and fuzzy and stuff inside. But what really surprises me about this is like, there's a lot more of a call for commander mode than I had really thought. Like, I thought I was alone on that shit.
All right.
Man.
We're going to talk about it. So I asked the question, what realistically Battlefield needs to do for you to be decent for next year? I asked the question. We got so many replies. And we're not able to go through them, but this is what we're going to do. So, if you really enjoy this particular episode that you're listening right now, and you actually enjoyed what we're doing here, if this episode is a success and you all love it, we're gonna do another episode on Patreon that we will go through every single comment that we got. We'll go through every single comment that we got, and we're gonna do it on the Patreon. So if you really enjoyed this,
I'll even throw this one out there. If you subscribe to the Patreon and put that comment out there, then you'll get top of the queue priority when on feedback week. So like that's a special. Like I'll throw that out on offer right now, regardless of what Tom has to say about it. Subscribe to the Patreon for real.
Yeah,
and we will fucking totally put you at the top of the queue as far as reading back your comments. Like you guys, those who support us, of course you're gonna get priority.
But it's not even that. Like it's just so many of them. That's the thing. It's just so many of them. So if I see 5 or 10 new subscribers and like 30 like free subscribers or whatever on Patreon, if I see the number of subscribers are growing on Patreon, we'll do this episode, read every single comment, and we'll react to it like we're gonna do it now. For this particular episode, I picked the best ones, at least the most meaty ones, the most interesting ones. Some of them might consider not be that interesting, but because they were unique from everything else, I kind of want to like maybe low-key discuss it if we'll have time and everything.
Oh, definitely. I think we can dedicate a little extra time in order to actually get a little bit more in depth with these comments, because it's totally worth it. What surprises me the most is it seems like the community, like, and we might even like have to put together like a Google survey for this.
Maybe
like that I feel like we should, and do that for the Patreon episode as well. And we can definitely look over. We'll just have the link to the survey like in page. We'll put that up for like a week up first. And then we could just dump it on Twitter and just let everybody else have at it for like a week or two. And then we'll check the data on it. And like maybe at the end of next month, we'll be able to look at it and be like, okay, we'll see how much of a consensus. Because this is a really good pool as far as like what the community is after. I kind of sounded like Rick there for a second. This is like a really good fucking consensus of what the goddamn community wants here. I want more fucking maps. And anyway. So what surprises me is, like I said earlier, is like, for one, like how much of a demand there actually is for commander mode still. Like that makes me feel pretty freaking cool. And for the most part, the community seems to know, what they actually want. There's not really any like wild cards as far as this feedback goes. I've seen
some wild cards.
There's some wild cards amongst all this, but for the most part, like people are on more maps. Good small amount of solid game maps that focus on specific sub modes. So again, like Oscar Norlander here said, 3 to 4 solid game modes to keep the player base thick spread instead of thin spread over 10 modes or something like that. I agree with that. Like I said earlier, you focus on the Conquest, which is again the sandbox mode, and the Rush, which is the linear aspect of it.
Yeah, we're gonna read through them. Don't worry.
This is good. This is good stuff.
Yeah, this is good stuff. So before I gonna start reading the comments, I just like to let know that there was on the Google document feedback that I mentioned in the description, there was a comment from Dagerman. He wrote a lot, paragraphs of stuff to discuss. So
Dark, is that you?
No, it's not him. No, Dagerman has been. I know he's been following me for ages, and he listens to our stuff all the time. So I'm not gonna. I have it. I have your words, but we're not going to use it for this episode because it's another topic entirely, and we're going to use it for the next one because he raises some good points about should the franchise maybe like go two different directions? One is like more realistic and one is arcade or whatever. I'm gonna talk about it in the next episode. But yeah,
so we still have a dissertation writer. I love it.
Yeah. Oh my god, he wrote a lot.
I miss our original dissertation writer. No offense, but
he wrote a lot. Yeah. Okay.
I mean, that's good stuff. Yeah. That's
So
dedication.
don't worry, Danny Jamal, I see you. Anyway,
We got you.
I see you. Okay, so the first comment that we got on is from Oscar Norlander, and he's a developer that he worked on Battlefield 2042. I think, correct me if I'm wrong, if anyone's listening. I think if I checked, he worked on EA Security. If I check correct. But anyway, he wanted to give some feedback. It's nice when developers actually give feedback. So he says, Oscar Norlander he says, how we make Battlefield decent for him next year. So more maps, 64 players max, 3-4 solid game modes to keep the player base thick spread instead of a thin spread over 10 modes or something like that, 4 classes, server browser, keep the team to something of today, not too far in the future, back in the history. So that's what he says. There, of course, with that comment of him, because he is pretty active on Twitter, and he got a lot of replies regarding that. For example, someone said like, "Oh, why 64 players? Why not Why not keep the 128 players and everything?" And he replied to that, "Well, many reasons. Making those big maps takes more people per map. Spread the resources and make more maps instead. Performance. It is hell to have a studio to test with 128 players. Every map gets played tested less. The map quality will be lower." Fully agree with that. That's what he said.
I do. I agree on a lot of those points.
Yeah, I fully
I'll
agree with
interject
that.
and say one thing, though. Like, if you guys, I mean, saying that you guys can't get 128 players together in order to do testing, right there kind of cries something that we've kind of been crying about for years now since it disappeared. You guys could have brought community testing back.
Yeah, community test environment, yeah.
CTE needs to come back.
Yep.
If that's that big of a problem for 128 in order to work, which I'm not advocating for 128. I mean, I'm feeling like down the road it's probably going to become a norm, but it needs a property that can support that kind of player base. Battlefield probably ain't really it, unless it needs to shatter some things in order to make that happen. But I mean, even 64, if that's a problem, community testing was a thing. It was a good thing. It did good things. It needs to come back. I'm tired of saying it.
I actually agree with that.
You have people who are willing in order to show up. You've had people who are willing to show up. We weren't even asking for compensation for it. We never asked for compensation for it.
I
just bring it back.
If I remember correctly, if you really want to talk to people listening, if you want to hear about us talk about CTE, I think it's episode 7. I think the podcast is called "Why We Need Community Test Environment." I think it's episode 7. So Battlefield 1 podcast episode 7. I think that's the one that we talked about.
Man,
CTE.
if you guys don't know, like, we were hardcore, heavily involved with CTE with Battlefield 4.
I think that's
we were.
I think that's. I think it was only me on that episode, and I talked a lot about it. So check it out. Okay, next.
But yeah, back in the day, we were hard on that shit.
Yeah.
Bring it back.
Next comment is from Danny on PC.
I'll take Danny.
Yeah, okay, go take Danny.
So yeah, we can alternate this. So Danny on PC, of course. Take Battlefield 3. Battlefield 4 is base design wise, less cheese than BF4 though. Of course, I get why Danny would say that. Of course, Danny wants more blue. 64 player max, of course. General consensus, 60 hertz servers minimum. I get that. Again, quality. 4 classes. Classes can have skins, but they'd be locked to the class, so a guy with a wrench on their kit can't be a sniper. Keeps a silhouette. No explosives on transport vehicles.
Oh, I actually fully agree with that.
No explosives on transport vehicles. I guess you're talking about like the grenade launchers and shit like that.
Yeah, probably like a MRAP with the grenade launcher.
All right, yeah, I get the nuisance behind that as an infantry player, because I am an infantry player. I think kind of the reason why that'll probably never happen is because the transport vehicle kind of really needs a way to defend itself in a way. Like 50 cal guns, good thing to do. I do think some of the grenade spams with some of the seats in Battlefield 2042 was a little bit fucking excessive when it came to a lot of things, because the tank had its own dedicated mortar seat. A lot of vehicles just had grenade launchers out of nowhere, so I get that. I respect that. Yeah, cut back on it a lot. Yeah, as far as the visuals of it, yeah, I agree with that as well. Like we need to get back to the ability in order to visually identify a target without actually having QQQQQ'd it. If you know, you know.
Yeah.
I agree with that as well. Totally, 100%, Danny.
I fully agree about him with him regarding the silhouette of the classes. I remember, was it Battlefield? No, it wasn't Battlefield 1. Maybe Battlefield 5. Well, the classes kind of lost its identity.
Yeah, BF5 kind of really lost it like that, and you had to actually QQQ a target in order to like understand what class it was. Like, I think Battlefield 4 was the like Battlefield 1. Kind of, yeah.
No, Battlefield 1, you could tell in Battlefield 1 which class is which.
There were some skins that were locked to it. Yeah, you're right.
No, there were no.
But I really honestly say, I'm going to sit here and say that Battlefield 4 is the last game where you could actually visually ID what you were looking at without having to actually spot it.
Battlefield 1 had no skins. It was the same as any other Battlefield game. It's like the same skin on each class. Oh, Battlefield 5 was the way it started.
That is 5 I'm thinking of.
Yeah, Battlefield 5, that's why it started, because you have all that customization.
Yeah, because it's the UIs, they look so damn similar.
Yeah.
That's why I got mixed up in my head.
So
anyway.
I agree on that. So next comment is from Elvis Scott. So I know he's a big Call of Duty YouTuber. We follow each other. Well, he showcases skins in Call of Duty and everything. I like his stuff. Also a meme lord like me, so I like him. Elvis Scott. Wouldn't mind a commander feature. Was really fun going through squads, asking if they need support, dropping supplies, etc. I'm kind of surprised that even someone mentioned commander mode.
I'm amazed how many people mention commander mode, actually. I'm glad I'm not alone on that.
Yeah, how you think... Okay, but let's just stay for a little bit on this. How would you think commander mode would work in a modern type of game these days?
The exact same fucking way that it did in Battlefield 4.
You think
could hop on with a phone, a tablet, or your computer. You could support... I mean, with as far forward as phones have become nowadays, and the fact that mobile games have games that tie in heavily with PC games and other console games like Fortnite Mobile, there's no excuse for the commander mode from Battlefield 4 to just be brought back and just made way more robust. Like, you could... I really honestly feel like it should be to the point where, like, if you really wanted to, you could literally, like, possess a soldier and just look through their eyes on the ground as the commander, pop back out in the map and be able to, like, more precisely place your assets and stuff.
That would be so
like,
good.
if you wanted to, like, double check to make sure that you're not going to drop a supply box on a fucking roof and, like, the map's not making it 100% clear, cool. I can, like, pop into the squad leader, even if you just make it a squad leader thing. Pop into the squad leader, look around the squad leader's position and go, okay, well, there's that open area right off to them, and you can literally radio to them and say, hey, off to your fucking 11 o'clock, I'm dropping a supply crate, cover the area. Like, you could make it more in-depth and and make that commander role more robust.
And
give them more things to do, like not just spam missiles and stuff. Like, I mean, ordnance is cool. It needs to be that thing, you know, dropping vehicles in, reinforcing commanders. That was a cool thing where they would, like, I think they'd buff their health or their defense, or they'd buff their health or their accuracy or some shit. Like, there was some sort of buff that you could give the squads in Battlefield 4. Bring that back. Bring stuff like that back. But, you know, put a bard in Battlefield.
Yeah, actually,
that's about all you got to do.
That would be so cool. And like I mentioned on Patreon, patreon.com/TheLankySoldier, I did talk about Call of Duty Warzone Mobile and how awesome it is, actually, regardless of the problems. It's still kind of... the fact that you can play...
It's a good concept.
Yeah,
and
the fact that you can play on a phone, it's amazing. Anyway,
you could even make it so that you literally control drones as the commander. Yep. You could have a predator drone that is like as a flag capture that only, like, spawns in on the map like the AC-130, and you could literally fly it around since it's a fucking predator drone and it just spots, and you have one small cluster bomb that you can drop and that's it, and then it just despawns, or it could be shot down. You know, do those things. Anyway, moving on.
You want to do the next one?
Mr. Not Todd Howard.
Yeah, Mr.
What I want is something that I can't describe and won't fit everyone. I want the game to feel good. I can't describe it as much other than I want the movement to feel fluid, like how it was in BFV, as that is my standard. On a half serious note, just make Battlefield 5 in the near future. I mean, I kind of agree with that. The movement, getting around in Battlefield 5 was like a really, really awesome thing.
It was better than Battlefield 1, yeah, for sure.
It was way better, and I love that that's the standard now. I feel like that has been a really huge advancement. The fact that you can maneuver around a lot, like going back to Battlefield 4 after playing Battlefield 5 for a hot minute, it really is fucking jarring, like just like how more maneuverable you are. That being said, what I would say, Mr. Not Todd Howard is saying is just like basically take so far like based on what like I'm reading here, like everybody wants pretty much just Battlefield 4 with the movement of 5 and just focus on specific things, and I say hell yes to that. That being said, let's jump on to the next comment because this is an OG name that I definitely remember.
Yeah. So next comment is from Ragnarok. Hi Tim. Battlefield
goes way back. Yeah. Hey buddy.
Battlefield 3 as a base. Battlefield 2 Fighting Commander, Battlefield 4's UI, assist counts as skill, first-person kill knifing system. Oh, that's actually yeah. Premium DLC mode, lots of maps, Battlefield 3 and 4 community tools, platoons, and have Folk make more than Procon. Oh, I think that's for the server.
It's for server management.
Yeah. I want toggleable crossplay and a client-side customization kill switch. I'll be honest with this. I agree with most of it, but I disagree about the premium DLC model because I talked about it, and we'll talk about it again, but I can't remember which episode we talked about. I said that premium DLC will never coming back because what's the point making...
Live service thing, baby.
It's not even that. It's because why you want to make a content for 1.6% of the player base? That's the... Okay, so on Battlefield 1, people that own premium on Battlefield 1, it was 1.6% of player base that owned premium on Battlefield 1. That's a low-ass number. Doesn't matter what...
That's true. I would love to see the numbers for BF3 and 4, though. I'm sure like 3 was higher and then it kind of dropped off. What I would say is the consensus is, the concession between the two would be, keep the live service model where you're putting the maps out for free. Don't divide the player base as far as that goes. But if you want to have, like, and here we go, somebody in the background is going to go, it's a fucking battle pass is what you're describing, dude. Have a premium service where there's only certain things that those premium players can get, as far as skins, guns, etc., as long as later down the line there's a free-to-path play to get to it. You know, I'm okay with that. That seems to be the the standard nowadays. I'm getting into Rick Sanchez mode again. That seems to be the standard nowadays from these fucking corporate cocksuckers.
Yeah, I already have it in the notes for the next episodes, in the future episodes regarding premium versus live service. We're gonna discuss that for sure.
Ragnarok asking for more community tools. I agree with that too.
I agree with that. Yeah,
for years there needs to be more community tools.
I agree with that. Next one. Okay, this one is just a straight list.
This is a straight up list, and I can mow through this.
Okay, just
quick.
okay.
So, Club Xbox.
Yep.
Checkbox for standard 64 players, max and regular modes. Cool. Standard Battlefield class roles. Yes. Industry leading destruction system. Yes, that needs to come back. Minimum 60 FPS, 60 hertz servers. Yes. No paid map packs. Agreed. Again, like we just said earlier. Current/future warfare. Everybody seems to be wanting Battlefield 4 again. Advanced AI anti-cheat. Yeah. Because there's pirate software viewers will know there's ways in order to do it without doing it. Optional crossplay, yeah, agreed. No major weather effects. I mean, if you want,
it depends what he describes. Yeah, is it talking about a tornado or like parasol storm thing?
Yeah, but again, parasol storm, major weather thing. It can completely destroy the map in some cases. I think it's the randomness of the tornado that everybody kind of
maybe they're
that's what makes a tornado, kids.
Yeah, but maybe they're referring to something big like a tornado. But regarding weather effects, I think they should stay. Anyway,
Heli's less dominant. I mean, how are you going to do that without neutering them and completely eliminating their role? I get what is
that's balance. That's basically balance.
That's a balance issue. Yeah. They tweaked a little bit. Free to play battle royale. All right, as long as it's not a complete focus.
It's a different
browsers.
Topic,
yeah. Minimum 60 hertz. Yeah, ability to have up to 8 friends join divided between 2 squads without queuing.
Yes.
Yeah, why not?
Yeah, why not? Yep.
Better compass row system, yeah, why not? Over-the-top Fortnite style skins. Oh, no over-the-top Fortnite style skins. Yeah, agreed. No AI players in matches. Again, I would argue against that. That I kind of like the fact that there's bots in order to up until people join. It keeps the games going.
Like
that. It keeps things going, because jumping in a game that's half populated with 64 tops, it's fucking boring. So yes and no. Yeah, their bots are dumb and you can farm off of them, but again, whatever. As long as you kind of nerf the XP gain on those a little bit, or whatever you get out of them, it's not that big of a deal.
Yeah, pretty much.
More guns and gadgets. Yeah, kind of.
Who doesn't want more content, right?
Who doesn't want more content? No single player, multiplayer only. Yeah, no. We really do need more
I'm
context
leaning
as far as
towards
multiplayer goes.
yeah.
I get it.
We
because
talked
people
about
think
it,
that it would
yeah.
take focus away, but we really kind of need to get back to having context as to why we're doing what we're doing in these in Battlefield games. That was one of the reasons what made them good.
Yeah. Next comment is from Silverback Senpai. Copy-paste Battlefield Bad Company 2, Battlefield 3, and Battlefield 4, which is a lot of copy-paste.
Make them all have a baby.
Okay, so before we continue, I'm just gonna say this: that's not how game development works. But hey, okay, I get what he's saying. I get what he's saying. Also, fun fact: even if they wanted to copy-paste something like a code from those games, I don't think they can even do that because I know even when Battlefield 5 or 1 was releasing. I can't remember which game was it. I remember I was told from a developer, like, they can't even open the editor for Battlefield 4 anymore, and that was like 7-8 years ago, because they lost the license for the specific tools. So they can't even open. So if they want to copy-paste something, they will have to either renew their license, which probably not going to happen, or I don't know what they need to do. Basically, they can't use the same thing they used before, because they can't open the editor, which means a lot. Anyway, comment goes.
Yep, I know how that goes.
Yeah, comment goes. But make Rush game mode as great as it was back in Bad Company 2. 4 classes like before. Destruction like Battlefield Bad Company 2. Great maps, Battlefield 3 and Battlefield 4. Depends which maps. Naval warfare like Battlefield 4. See, there's not a lot of Battlefield games that have naval warfare. Well, okay, the old ones maybe. So it's kind of hard to compare. But I get what he's saying.
Are we talking about, like, carrier assault? But
yeah, exactly.
Like, I'm cool with that, but they're, like...
Anyway, different topic there. Bring back UCAF and don't nerf it. I'm sorry if I'm gonna...
I fucking remember you.
I'm gonna disagree on that. Okay, and commander mode with mobile play.
Yeah.
We already talked about it.
Yeah,
Good idea. Good idea.
Nuke 235. Functional RSP. RSP. My brain just farted on that acronym.
Rental program. Rental server program.
Yeah, that's, yeah. Anyway, bare minimum Battlefield 1's admin tool setup. I would argue way more than that as a bare minimum, but preferably something more in-depth, similar to Procon level of control. Agreed. Community servers with stock settings tied into quick queue, not hidden behind multiple menus, maybe even Portal-style gameplay modifications in it too. And that's where I say that even Portal is just like a huge, clusterfuck of missed potential right there. Of missed shots right there. So yeah, I wholly 100% agree. It's pretty much just saying that the multiplayer and the community aspect of it just needs to be more robust. Agree. Hard agree. 100%.
Next comment is from Sam. Movement pace in Battlefield 5 was peak. 2042 was slightly too fast. I kind of agree, actually.
Yeah.
64 player is the sweet spot. I'm not too bored about the style tone, but Battlefield was peaking Battlefield 1 for atmosphere, like that level of immersion back. He will like that kind of immersion back. Seasons need to go, no more FOMO.
That's a hard one, because seasons drive spending, unfortunately. Seasons keep the shit going, and we want things to stay going. So, I mean...
If that's the case... Okay, let's...
That's where I say, like, go back to, like, having it so that the maps drop.
Technically...
You keep the maps.
Technically, Battlefield 2042 is the perfect game right now in terms of no seasons because of cancellation. So we're not gonna have more seasons, but still we're gonna have new game modes or something, whatever, leftover stuff. So I guess that way... I don't know. I mean, again, this is a completely different conversation for another day because there's loads of...
That's a TKO, man. That's wrong. Don't do that.
That's a lot to discuss here. So I am...
You're bringing up fucking technicalities here.
Yeah. There's a lot of technicalities here. Regarding atmosphere, yeah, I agree. Battlefield has always been the best Battlefield games, in my opinion, were the ones that actually had a team and some sort of tone to it. Even Battlefield Heroes. Anyone knows Battlefield Heroes? Like from 15 years ago? A very... childhood, very cartoony third-person Battlefield game. Like,
it had a story and context to it.
Yeah. It's fine if it has that type of style, as long as it makes sense for the game. So that's the thing. I do not mind if the next Battlefield game is a cartoony game. It's fine. As long as I know it's a Battlefield game and it's doing Battlefield right. It doesn't matter. Like, as long as it serves the game. But I do agree with people that want Battlefield game to be a bit more serious and, they want that atmosphere. I fully understand that. And I agree with that.
Some of the over-the-top stuff's kind of get dialed back just a hair. I mean, it kind of started with Battlefield 1 with some of the tech and the fact that, everybody had automatic rifles when not everybody really did back in World War I. But, I mean, Battlefield 5 kind of pushed it over the top, and I think we kind of do need to get back to like what the series was with like Battlefield 1 and 4, like, or an 8, and 3.
Forget 5. What about 2042?
Keep it on the level, my man.
What about 2042? It's just a serious apocalyptic game, but your characters are literally shouting, don't be sad, it works out like that sometimes, I think Battlefield 2042 was like the mixed bag of God knows what.
It's cringe, but it's the wrong cringe. It's the bad cringe. Yeah, it's the cringe we don't like.
You want to take the Planet Matt ones?
Hell yeah.
I know Planet Matt, he's been following me for ages, and he always comments about everything, so good guy. Anyway, you can read it.
Bad Company 2... Oh, excuse me. Wake up, asshole! Bad Company 2 vibe, atmosphere, fun first, no more Macho Marine nonsense, 80s setting. Oh, 80s, yeah.
That's a new one, yeah.
That is a new one. You're right, that is an era that hasn't really been touched in a hot minute, like Cold War setting, post...
Not in Battlefield, at least.
Not in Battlefield, at least. Yeah, hell yeah. Battlefield 1 gunplay. I do agree the gunplay in Battlefield 1 was pretty much on point. Battlefield 5, like, maybe a hair better, but...
I kind of disagree. I think Battlefield 5 was
because
bad.
Battlefield 1 was the last game that the masters were doing as far as the gunplay and as far as, like, how close as far as historical accuracy went. So I in a way, kind of think that 4 was a little bit better, because it was the same group of guys that did the guns and that.
I think 5 was good.
5 kind of was peak
on
some aspects. I don't like how the revolvers behave in 5. I think
okay, that's a specific thing.
Yeah, man. Yeah,
okay,
I'm upset. I'm a revolver runner. Get over it.
All right.
Battlefield 4 ancillary systems, platoons, challenges, battle logs, server browser, Procon servers. Again, more community support. Platoons bringing that stuff back. Yeah, it's the community building stuff. Need it back.
I agree.
Battlefield 3 map quality.
Yes, I guess.
I mean, I can't say that BF3 was 100% the peak of maps, but I mean, I get where people are coming from when they say that shit. Finals destruction.
Oh, the finals game. Yeah,
finals nice. Level of destruction.
Yeah, that would be nice. I guess I don't know if it's possible, but that would be nice.
It would be. It would be more demanding, and we would definitely. Again, we're going to get hop into the next point. It would be a 64-player max limit, probably because of resources. But I think it could be done.
Yeah, I think it could be done.
No time limited content. Again, I see where the sentiment is coming from on that. But I'm 50-50. Again, it sells. It makes money. It keeps the product going. We want to keep it alive.
That's assuming you want to consider skins as content, though.
Yeah, like if you're considering like skins, weapon skins, visuals and cosmetic stuff should be the only stuff that is time limited. New guns, of course, you're gonna let premium players have them first, but again, as long as there is like a free to play path for them, like a week later for these types of games, I'm cool with that. Even if it's a couple of days that like the premium players get it first, that's fine, But again, you've got to make those differences. You can't gatekeep the community with like the core content. Moving on.
Next comment is from Kelly Lytle. I think I pronounced that correctly. I know
Little.
Is it with the Y?
Yeah, I'm pretty sure it's Little.
Okay. I know. I've seen her on Twitter all the time. So she says hello. A co-op campaign story mode, a persistent server browser, admin tools, free-to-play premium element. So, okay, I guess. So it's like free Battle Royale or Warzone, whatever you want to call it. Lots of personal
I'm cool with that.
Yeah. Lots of personal customization, greedy soldiers, squad colors, emblems, ranking more appealing. That's different. Making ranking more appealing. Capture the flag mode. Yes, god fucking damn it.
Yes, goddamn yes. Why not?
Platoons or similar, commander and spectator. Yes.
Yes, Commander and Spectator. Spectator mode is again another one. Like we missed the ability to film.
Everything she said in here, I fully agree with everything she said. Everything.
Hell yes. Oh
Everything.
yeah. Co-op. That co-op. That's the first call I've seen for a co-op.
Yeah,
co-op
actually, yeah.
story mode. Yeah, I agree
If
with
it's
that.
done-
I would love to see. Co-op.
Why not make the whole next single player literally co-op? Literally, I don't care. Like, yeah, you
well,
can
have it optional.
Optional,
don't
yeah.
force it, but like if you could take. All right, like think about it this way. Like let's just take and say Battlefield 4, where for the most part you have a squad of at least 3, if not 4 players with you. They're main characters. You could actually have it so that your co-op buddies are main characters, or you could even do like what it was with what was it, Battlefield 3 that did the last co-op campaign. It was an offshoot side story of the main campaign.
Wait, did Battlefield 5 had a co-op mode, but it was so garbage. I remember that no one played it.
No, I don't give a shit about that one. I'm talking about like it was either Battlefield 3 or 4. I think it was 3. 3 had a co-op mode.
Oh yeah, it did
campaign.
because you like do single missions and I remember.
It was side missions and stuff. It still had stuff to do with the campaign, but it was like it was offshoot stuff. If you're gonna do that, like I would rather it just be tied into the campaign. Just do it that way.
Yeah, I fully agree with that. Commander mode, yeah, sure. Spectator mode, fully agree. Yeah, I agree with everything she said, even the capture the mode thing. And
especially spectator mode.
yeah, greedy soldiers, squad colors, and everything, customization in general, like, fully agree. You can go for the next one.
Vadim Kavekis.
Kavetskis.
Kaves. Sorry.
Vadim Kavetskis. I think
Vadim
that's the
Kaveskis.
Yeah, I think that's the correct way to pronounce it.
I'm so sorry if I butchered that.
Yeah, we're so sorry.
Go back to 64 player and build super detailed and packaged maps with destruction instead of big empty ones. Agree and kind of disagree. I like some of the sparsity that 2042 brought because it spaced the maps out a little bit and allowed for more open engagements. Like the desert map, the big oh god, I can't remember what the fuck it was in Battlefield 4. I kind of like that map because of that.
Oh, Silk Road.
What?
Silk Road or Golmont?
Yeah, Silk Road.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's peak as far as sparsity to density goes. Like there's some clusters of tightly packed shit. So like I get where you're coming from on that one, my dude. Less cartoony and more down to earth / realistic UI, especially for vehicles. Yeah. But as far as 2042 goes, the only thing I could say is like they tried taking a leap as far as a futuristic UI would go, and I don't think they really hit the nail on that one. I mean, it's kind of cool, but yeah, I get where you're coming from.
You know what? Yeah, regarding Battlefield 2042 UI, I get the idea. It's not my favorite, but I'm not gonna scold them for trying something new. You know,
it does what it needs to do.
Yeah.
It could have been done slightly better, but I'm not gonna completely pin them to the wall over that. Bring back BFV style gunplay.
Talked
yes
about,
and no.
Yeah.
Simplify vehicles back to BF4 era, no 5-player rolling forts. Yeah. But at the same time,
I agree.
Here, I don't know. I like attrition. I like the fact that vehicle attrition is a thing now. Because you can still be an invincible tank, but as long as you're supported and you're doing well. Because that's how a tank should work. That's how a tank works. As if there's good team play and there's good support for that vehicle can roll indefinitely, even with a 3-seater. We've done it in Battlefield, in BF4.
Yeah, I
like 3-seater tanks. I like the third seat only being able really to spot and maybe pop countermeasures. Like
I
make
remember
active detection be a reachable thing. Third seat has to look where the shot is coming from for active protection in order to work. Things like that.
See, I remember I made a video about this, and I was not a fan that third seat basically was doing nothing or something like that, but that's a different story. I can talk about this again for like 10-15 minutes about it.
Yeah, we could go on.
Yeah. There's a lot of things to talk about that particular one. I can talk about.
Yeah, but I get where he's coming from as far as the no 5-player rolling forts, because I think it was Battlefield 5 that started that shit with the tanks.
Was it Battlefield?
Or was it? No, it was 1 because the old British tanks. Yeah. So I mean, I get it, but that's what those things were back in the day, essentially.
Okay, next comment is from James Salt. Stop trying to be Fortnite, Call of Duty. The people who love those games already have those games. Be yourself, all-out war in the modern Battlefield. Helicopters, jet, tanks, infantry, team playing together to achieve loose sandbox goals. Yeah, I guess. I mean, it makes sense. Like, why you want to make the same game that everyone else are making. You want to be unique, that is unique to you. You know, you want to be Battlefield to be Battlefield. I mean, I have nothing else much to add here, honestly. I mean,
real.
I mean, no matter. I love Fortnite. I play Fortnite on a daily basis, and I love Call of Duty. But I love Battlefield for what Battlefield is. As long as it stays unique to this, franchise and what it represents, I'm okay with that. It's nice to borrow certain mechanics or certain features from other games. Of course, that's how competition grows. That's how you get more gamers into your games.
There's a difference between an homage and a complete and total utter attempt at ripping, and that's where the difference is, and that's where 2042 kind of lost its identity again because it didn't focus on what it should have been, on what it wanted to be.
Yeah. You can go next.
SaberSun says, take Battlefield 1 atmosphere with Battlefield 5 controls and player locomotion and port that into 2045, ending the conflict starting in the 2042 game. Core elements are needed, like bring all of your friends into the same game, squads, classes, scoreboard, really just be straightforward, no gimmicks. Yeah, again, focus on what the game needs to be, implement more team players, put in and keep what has worked over the years, get rid of what doesn't work. Community saying really a lot of the same stuff. This should not be rocket scientists. I really hope there's some devs listening to this right now and really kind of taking some notes here, kids.
Yeah, I know we have some developers listening to the podcast. I do know that. I did got an anonymous comment from one of them. It's not it's not the one you think. Anyway, Lucas Murray. That's Murray. Lucas Murray. Lucas says, 10 maps on release as minimum. Textures and detail of maps to get back to. Battlefield 1 level minimum, like type of, texture detail or whatever you want to call it. 40 guns on release or minimum. A free-to-play battle royale with a shit ton of post-launch support. Hero shooter vibe thrown into the bin, never be tried again. 2 maps on each update. Okay, so this is just a checklist where you kind of anyone would want. Like, it would be great if you have one Portal map every season, that kind of stuff. I get that. So I've seen arguments, for example, even... okay, I'm not going to mention names, but I've seen arguments, people saying like, is 7 maps enough, or 10 maps is enough, You know what, I think of this way, if the maps are good, I don't really care if it's 5, and then you can add more. Is it a bit sucks that it's only 5? Yes, but if the maps, let's say, is this 5 maps, right, they're really good maps, on release, and maybe you have like different variants of the map, let's say, each map has a 9-day variant, that's technically 10 maps. And
here's a brilliant one. It just popped into my head. Okay, this would be a great way, since there's all this ability to analyze how games are played and everything like that. Have the game have like a high level of destructibility, but like every 3 months or so. Like let's not even call it a season. Every like 2 months you take a reading on how like the new map plays or how the map is being played, and you change like how destroyed the map is. Like if there's a building that gets leveled like quite often, the next iteration of the map, that building is pretty much leveled now, and it evolves from there on. And maybe like if that area doesn't get touched so often, the next season you'll see it like maybe start being rebuilt, and you can destroy the equipment. And if the players decide to destroy the equipment again, the building doesn't get rebuilt. But if they don't go there and they don't fuck with it, eventually the building gets rebuilt. So you could do shit like that. That would be a great way in order to have like a core 12 maps and have them just keep evolving and changing over the years. If you guys like have a weather system that has a tornado, like some players don't like, and that tornado just happens to keep hitting like a specific spot, have a trench dug in there eventually to show that like that tornado has come through. This is what has generally happened, and make the player base feel like what they're doing around them is in some way affecting their environment. I think that would be a really fucking cool hook for the community.
Yep.
And then maybe like once a year or every 6 months, you just completely press the reset button, put it back to stock.
Next comment is from Carmine. It's a long one, so I'm just gonna mention. I might as well again go Patreon. If people subscribe and you like this, we're gonna talk about this. But I'm just gonna mention.
There will be a whole episode of just nothing but this.
Yeah. But what he mentioned is basically, I just want to quickly like go through it. that first-person animations have to be like good quality, like Call of Duty has these days. Fully agree. Battlefield 2042 doesn't feel good in first person regarding with the gun animations and everything, all that kind of stuff. I think it's really not up to par to the AAA quality or standards, what you would want to say.
All I'm hearing is Ryan Duffin needs to be hired back.
Yeah.
That's all I'm fucking hearing. I agree.
Yeah, but when it comes to like Call of Duty developers, like making first-person like animations for guns and everything, top tier, literally top tier stuff. And Battlefield really feels outdated these days, especially 2042. You can go next one, the Hoochie one.
Hoochie. A battle royale mode with a PUBG loot system, box and ground loot, no loadouts, updated Halvoy map, redeploy, bring squad make back system, revive system basically. Small side quests or Easter eggs to solve during the round to get that special stuff like a revive or artillery strike. So this kind of sounds to me like the free-to-play battle royale system should kind of like harp on Fortnite a little bit, but not go as over the top, which I agree that would make for a good, like, cheeky, cheesy free-to-play battle royale mode, and if that would be a thing, it would have to be, again, it would have to be focused, it would have to be supported, and the player base would actually want to play it. So I think it should be squad-based. Yeah, definitely put a squad-based system in a battle royale, have even if it's just 3-player squads. 4-player would be my minimum, but I would settle with 3. Hell yeah, why not?
It's funny says he says no loadouts. See, I would probably love to.
I really hard disagree on that one. But at the same time, I get why, because if you want to have an on-site procurement style game, then you really shouldn't have loadouts because it kind of undercuts it. But doesn't Fortnite allow loadouts?
No. What he means is
it's pure on-site procurement.
No, what he means is that in Warzone, you, like any battle royale, you spawn with the pistol and everything, right? But you can buy a crate from a buy station, and it basically a loadout drops, and you can pick up your weapons from there, including your perks and everything. That's how it works in Call of Duty Warzone.
Okay,
right.
I get
in
that.
Fortnite, it's not loadouts. It's just open. It's just basically whatever you find on the ground is yours. But you can equip skins like Apex Legends. You can equip skins on certain guns, and you're gonna use those skins in the game if you find that gun on the ground. So that's how it works. And in Call of Duty Warzone, loadouts basically you can customize your weapon and everything, right? And you have to get that weapon from a loadout box that you can buy at a buy station, or you get a free one that sometimes it lands at like a third circle, I can't remember. So you can go to the public one and get. But if you go to the public one, there's a big chance that other teams will camp that loadout because they know that other teams will try to get their weapons from that box. That's how it works. That's what he means by no loadouts. I don't know. It depends. Right. Yeah, it depends what kind of battle royale they're making. So I would not mind having my own loadout, but anyway, that's a different thing. Yeah. Battle Vader. We kind of need to go through these. So the next 10-15 minutes. So let's go through these. Battle Vader. Back to fantastic sound design, animations, map design, atmosphere. Great balance between classes and infantry versus vehicles. Fully agree with that. A strong, gritty narrative that focuses on war instead of personalities. Fully agree. Fully agree. Squad management, server browser, platoons, and better post-launch content. I agree with everything he said here, honestly.
Disobedient. Follow BF3 design and tone. Atmosphere similar to BF1 and 5 did. I get time frame. Maybe we go back to Vietnam. Good variety of maps, small, medium, and large. 4 of each would be good. I agree. Hard agree. Yep, server browser, community thing. Good vehicle mechanics. Double the weapons. 2042 had launch. 64 players. Destruction and Levolution. Yes, and yes. Destruction and Levolution are pretty much one and the same. The level of destructibility we could actually achieve nowadays. It's on par with Levolution. That's probably where the weather effects are taking place now of.
I'll do a hot take though regarding the weapons. I think the number of weapons they released on launch day was acceptable. I know people will scold me for that, but I don't think the content that Battlefield needs is the weapons. Sure, add weapons once in a while, expand the arsenal. Yes, fully agree.
The problem is doesn't matter what you do, there's still going to be a handful of guns that default everybody falls back on after a certain length of time just to be able to
Yeah,
keep
exactly.
up those
That's-
top-tier weapons. So
that's why-
diluting the pool with extra weapons doesn't necessarily solve the problem. Yes, it gives you more guns that you essentially you are incentivized in order to go through and master, but at the same time, do you really long-term use them after that fact? Probably not.
Yeah, that's the problem I have with for Call of Duty, for example. Is we have a new 2-3 weapons every season. Every 2 months, have brand new weapon and everything, and then that's including the old weapons from previous game, right?
Bro,
So
4 had that fucking problem.
yeah, where I remember when it gets too much, it gets too much, and then like
It
all the
gets
weapons start to
diluted, you
become the
just don't
same.
use it.
Yeah, so that's why it's a hot take. I don't think we need more weapons. I think we need more unique weapons. You
Yes.
know, but anyway, next comment. Fish5 News, what a name. Full-blown soldier customization. Crawling when downed. Oof. That's a lot. I have a lot of things to say about that. Dynamic, fully destructible world. New
Yes.
squad size, max of 10, called battalion. Are we talking like in game or like a platoon thing? That's
Like in game, like you
Ooh.
could have 10 people put together in a squad. You know what? Honestly,
I can't disagree.
that's
Everybody-
what Discord is for and team chat.
Yeah, I can't. Yeah, I can't
keep the
disagree with
squads tight in 4s. Then that way you can have a 3 group of 4 players in the squad. Just go that route.
Crawling while downed. Actually, at first I was like against it, but now I thought about. Oh wait, that's right. When you get killed, you
I
can't
get
be revived.
why
You can't get
wanna be able
revived.
in order to
Okay,
get the fuck away from what's killing you.
I actually agree with that. Okay, wait, did Battlefield 5 had that or no? No, it did not.
Yes, I think it did.
No, it did not. No, Battlefield did not.
2042, I think, brought that in.
Yes. So
I think.
Okay, yeah. That's right. You can crawl. Okay, that's a good thing. I fully agree with that. That's a good thing. When you're shot and you can be revived, yeah, I think crawling is a nice thing. I fully agree with that. Okay, next one, I guess.
I'll take the next 2 since JJ is so incredibly short. But JJ is on the same consensus as I am. After reading several comments, I agree. I would like to add how important an epic soundtrack is. Wholly agree. There needs to be more
I'm still
focus
waiting.
on some soundtracks. Battlefield 4 had a fucking
I'm still
bomb-ass
waiting.
soundtrack.
Oh, the ultimate dream. Hans Zimmer doing the soundtrack for Battlefield game. Oh my god.
That would be glorious. August. Factions with unique and recognizable soldiers. Again, falling back on getting rid of a hero shooter bullshit. I agree. Battlefield 2 and 3 map design styles. Map design. Yeah, the styles and the way that the maps were done. Wholly agree. No operators, no special gadgets. Cringy stuff. Give us classic classes. See, you can't. Classes kind of had specialty gadgets. I mean, you couldn't put a tugs on an engineer. So one kind of contradicts the other a little bit, but I get what you're saying there. Good campaign to provide a better context on why we are fighting each other. Wholly 100% agree.
Someone agrees with us, right?
Everybody,
Someone
see,
agrees.
again, we need context on why we're killing each other. Battlefield 5 gunplay is great, and environmental destruction, wholly agree. Again, I want to be able to knock a dam out and flood a whole lower part of the map. Again, I miss Flood Zone for that.
Yeah.
I could troll that map beautifully. Your turn, Michael.
Next one is from Alexander Schneider. We are actually going to the end now. More maps. What the fuck it says here? Oh, he means like
2 or 3 seasons.
Yeah, two maps per season. That's what he means. Okay. Mix of new and old maps as seasonal content. Yeah, of course. 64 players. Keep class and specialist system with refinements. Okay, all right. You know what? He's okay. Setting is present. I guess it means present and near future.
Present.
Yeah. It's a really weird comment. Season pass with high quality skins. Yeah, of course. And more fun skin crossovers. See, no one mentioned crossovers. Would you actually want to see any crossover in Battlefield?
As long as it was something that made sense. Like a Splinter Cell cameo or a Metal Gear cameo, that shit like that would make sense. For the love of God, I don't want to see Batman in Battlefield.
Spider-Man running around with a gun. Hey, you can do that in Fortnite.
My God.
Hey, listen, you can have Batman in Fortnite.
Spider-Man, killing noobs like a spider can.
Yeah, hell yeah. Oh, see, that's a Battlefield I can support.
I mean, but as long as it would be just for the Battle Royale. Because that the Battle Royale has the freedom to be as kooky as it kind of wants to be in a way.
Actually, Good point.
In some aspects, my thing is would really kind of hope that some local players would have the ability in order to turn that off. I advocate for that heavily because, like, if I don't want to see Spider-Man running around with an assault rifle. I really don't want to see Spider-Man running around with an assault rifle.
Like I said, you can do that in Fortnite. You can do that in Fortnite. It's hilarious.
If you want to have that on your screen, by all means, I don't care.
Okay, I fully agree. I fully agree. I don't want to see Batman in Battlefield, something like that. I fully agree. But unless it's Batman, like literally just a normal human being, and you just like armor, like military armor, there's like a Batman. Sure,
if it makes sense, then yes.
If it's classy, if it's classy and done properly, that makes sense in this universe.
Just for giggles, okay, I'll say this, like. You could have for some stupid reason, you could have made Iron Man fit in 2042 somehow.
You could.
It could be because mechs are a thing in that universe, so, You could have even gone kooky enough and had Metal Gear Rex appear. That would have kind of made sense. Hey, that could have been like a Levolution thing that you could trigger or a thing you could trigger and pilot for like 2 minutes, and everybody is like, oh shit. But the awesome thing would have been about that is like you go complete neutrality and you could just fucking kill everybody.
Yeah. Oh my god. Okay, before we go to the next one, imagine, those inflatable dinosaur costumes that people walk around? That. Give me that. It's realistic. Some soldier found an inflatable dinosaur costume somewhere and just put it on because fuck it, I'm in a war.
I mean cool. Why not?
Just for shits and giggles.
But again, for the battle royale thing, that you could have that make sense. That would be kind of I'd accept that in battle royale. Not in fucking conquest.
I don't care what skins we have. Yeah, I don't care what skins we have in a video game as long as it makes sense for the game. As long as it makes sense for the game. If it's a serious shooter, make it serious. If it's a goofy shooter, you make it goofy. As long as it makes sense. Okay. Next one is...
Obligated screen.
That one, yeah.
Battlefield 4 is a base. Battlefield 5 mechanics. Battlefield 1 look and feel. Vehicle proximity chat for transports or something to make people communicate better. Personally, I liked Levolution and hated Destruction was handled now. Go next gen with it. Wholly agree on all the parts. Vehicle proximity chat. Mm-hmm. On PC, yes. I kind of would like there to be an idea where you could press a button and be able to communicate in proximity around infantry and stuff. So, like, if you spot somebody and be like, RPG, you could do, like, hell yeah, why not? I don't understand why 2042 didn't put that in.
Imagine you're in a vehicle and you use wipe. And you hear proximity chat. It's like a radio sound effect that coming from a vehicle, and other players outside the vehicle can hear it. That's fucking awesome. That would be so freaking cool. Also,
I would also imagine people just holding that button down and blaring "Unfortunate Son."
That too, but you tell me it's not fucking cool. For example, in Call of Duty,
yeah, that would be fucking amazing.
For example, in Call of Duty. The Call of Duty has
bring the radios back on transport.
Yeah. No, that's what happens in Call of Duty. So in Call of Duty, right? They added like a couple of seasons ago, maybe 2 seasons ago, a proximity chat thing for the music. So in Call of Duty, you can unlock music tracks and everything, right? And you can blast like 90 songs from a vehicle, and you can hear that on the server as the vehicle passes by with that being played in a proximity chat. So like you hear, like, I just had this. It's amazing. It's funny. It's so cool.
I just had this amazing idea too. On top of the amount of level of fuckery I would commit with that in COD. Like, imagine, like, I'm already calling it now. The first video you and I would do, if they would allow us to have that and a spectator mode, is we would totally have to just get everyone together and just fly over the hill with Unfortunate Son blaring. The first officially filmed, community filmed Battlefield video would have to definitely be the Unfortunate Son meme all over again, because why not?
Yeah, it's a cool thing. It's a nice feature.
We need to be able to do this shit again, guys. Come on, we miss being able to do this stuff.
And it's realistic in a good way, as in, like, it makes sense for a Battlefield game. It's not goofy. It's like, it's somewhat realistic. Why don't you tell me a soldier can't blast music while it's in a tank? Of course he can.
For real, yeah. Let us have our fun where it makes sense. Totally. I miss having that shit.
All right. Next comment is from Trusty Roots. Focus on conquest plus rush, just like you said, right? Destructible environments, classes instead of specialist, solid life service roadmap, maps, I agree, not guns, maps, no bullshit co-op extraction royale modes, gritty and believable setting. I mean, that's kind of straightforward. We kind of talked about majority of it. Yep, we kind of talked majority of it. No bullshit co-op
John
extraction.
says-
Oh wait, I'm just gonna finish on
sorry.
that. Just gonna finish on this one. No bullshit co-op extraction rally modes. Again, different topic for another day. It's a lot of things to discuss here, but that's what he thinks, and that's fine. Okay, what John says.
I think we need something grounded, gritty, but still able to do some classic quote unquote Battlefield moment messing around. I wholly agree. We just touched on that point. I'm a big fan of a boots on the ground feeling, playing just as a normal soldiers in a squad of normal people. Nothing superhuman or hero like team play is crucial. 100% needs to get back to its roots. The class system, or not the class system, the specialist system in 2042 has kind of just like destroyed that whole thing. I really want that back, totally, 100%. Battlefield moments, again, let us have our filming back. Let us have the ability in order to be goofy, creative. Let us be creative with shit. I miss that shit. Launching a Jeep halfway across the vehicle in order to tactically insert a squad of 4 people, fucking amazing. Loved it.
Yeah.
Bring it back.
Funny enough, the last comment for this episode is from Big Daddy, and he basically says what John said. I simply want to be a proper war. I want the voice actors to actually whimper and cower in fear when they're being shot at like they did in Battlefield 3. Fully agree. Like, okay, Battlefield 2042 kinda does that. There's like, they like, you hear like characters or whatever you want to call them, they talk to each other like, oh, what's the situation? Like, oh, the enemy captured that flag and we need to do that and that. Like, they kinda do that, but it doesn't feel real. It feels really, what's the word? Not Malware-like or calm. It feels like sanitized. That's the word I'm looking for.
There you go.
Sanitized. That's the word. Yeah. It feels really sanitized. No, I want to hear when the commander or someone tells me what's the situation. I want them to hear that there's gunshots in the background. I want them to bloody like, we have enemies pushing this way, we need help, and blah, blah, blah. Both of them are absolutely right. The immersion, I know this is arcade shoot and everything, but Battlefield always been about that immersion. Even in an arcade setting, the game
Get
has...
my shit pushed in over here!
Yeah, like something.
I fucking missed that.
I missed when characters or classes or whatever, just the characters...
Not only that, but I want to audition for shit.
Yeah, I want to hear characters literally like, oh shit, grenade, or something like that. Something.
Get the fuck out of here, grenade!
Because it makes
I miss that shit.
Because it makes the game feel more alive, more interesting, and you kind
here's
of
the
invest
best part. If a player doesn't want that, make there be a tit box where you can turn that off.
Yeah.
If you have kids around and you don't want to hear that, or even have like 2 different versions of it, one where there's profanity, one where there's not. If you don't want it at all, you can turn it off completely. Have that. There's ways you can cut the audio in some cases in order to get rid of the profanity if you want. It's just a simple, it's another track, I get it, but hey, we're downloading everything nowadays anyway, so what the fuck does this space matter anymore?
It is doable. It's
doable. The resources just have to be put into it. And I know, I am fairly certain if anyone in EA accounting has been listening to this episode the entire time, I'm sure what I'm hearing what's coming out of their mouths by right now. All you're doing is just putting out more expenses we don't know if we'll make money on. But if you were, again, paying attention, the community is really pretty consistent on what they want. We're all on the same consensus for the most part. It's not hard to see.
I'm just looking at the comments, the last comments we have. Okay, I'm just gonna read this one and we can call it a day, because there's so much. Again, if people love this, go to Patreon, subscribe. Just subscribe. I will know. Even if you use a free trial, it's fine. It's free trial is there for a reason, because I believe we make an amazing content for you. You will stay even after the free trial. So I'm gonna read this last comment and I think we can end the podcast. Game Dev Micah. For me, to be decent, it has to break the mold. Battlefield broke the mold with large maps, large player accounts, and vehicles. That's normal now. What breaks the mold? Destruction at the full planetary level. Helldivers is going to beat them to it. Yeah? Battlefield always been the franchise that tries to push the boundaries in terms of technology and gameplay and everything. I mean, crap. Remember when we lost our shit of a skyscraper being destroyed when Battlefield 4 was announced? Everyone lost their shit. And
yet, with that point being just said there, I'll tell you what, There's a beautiful idea on how to break the mold literally in this podcast about 20 minutes back. I literally laid out how to do it. The best way to do it. No other game has done that yet. Helldivers hasn't even done that yet, as far as I know. If you guys are worried that much about that, then that's how you break the mold. Take the idea and run with it. I won't sue. I promise. Just cast me in a role somewhere. That's all I ask.
Yeah, and
there you go.
And one of the biggest
that's how you do it.
Yeah, and the biggest problems with Battlefield 2042, it tried to be the same as any other shooter.
And it didn't have an
ignoring
identity.
the problems. Yeah, ignoring the problems. It was not Battlefield. You know, it was not a Battlefield game. It was a mixture.
Everything but.
Yeah, it was a
literally
mixture of
everything but.
Yeah, and it was lacking in also. But yeah, those are the comments. We have so many more comments that we could go through, but we will be a really long ass podcast. And
yeah, we'll be here for another half hour. And like, if you guys are still hanging around, and like, kudos to you for hanging around this long. I mean, definitely, if you guys are up for this type of stuff, we'll definitely do this again. Like I said, I think we really should do that. Put up a Google survey. I've had some freeform questions on there, and then. You know, some ABC questions. What we can do is we can take what we got here and just make a poll, let it go for our Patreon supporters for the first week. Like I said, put it out on Twitter for a week or two after that. Try and get it around as much as we possibly can. And once we get a good data pool, we can take and look at it at the end of the month and go, yeah, definitely this is what the community wants. And if EA or DICE wants that pool data, they're welcome to have it as long as it helps. But for the love of God, don't you fuckers forget that the fact that it's the community that still supports this game and really loves it the most at the end of the day, not that damn stock value.
EA and DICE are more than welcome to take that Google document from us and as feedback or something like that. More than welcome. I will give me the email. I'll send it to you.
As long as it is actually objectively looked at and taken seriously into consideration. And it's serious. It's not just, we're doing this as a show of good faith. Like, we don't need that. We don't need that shit. What we need is signs that you guys are actually going to give a shit about the franchise from now on. If this is a whole new team, completely new. It's not the same guys that we're used to dealing with back in the day. Everything's evolved. Everything's changed. The company internally is changing. We discussed that earlier in the podcast. So it's time to actually get it. Let's give them a measurement on where the community wants things to go, and hopefully they'll be able to give us a good measurement on what they're actually capable of doing after they get their shit together.
Yep, fully agree. So, to end this podcast, thank you guys for giving us these comments. Thank you for answering, giving us feedback about everything. Like I said, there's so many that we can't go through, just way too much. So, if you enjoy this, if you actually enjoy this, I fully encourage you to go to our Patreon, subscribe. That's the way I will know that people actually enjoy this. If people subscribe, you don't have to even say anything. I don't care if you just join as a free member. I don't care.
Algorithm requires engagement.
Yeah, I don't care if you join as a free member. I don't care if you use the free trial. It's there for a reason. If you just join our Patreon, I will know that people enjoy this, and we'll definitely make a Patrons exclusive and an extension of this and go through the rest of the comments, because there's so many of them. There's just so many good things that were mentioned. It's just so much.
And on top of that, it is so beautiful to see still how much the community cares. That should say something. That in spite of, we still care. And there are some voices in amongst those comments that I had honestly thought never would have put forth. The actual constructive criticism that they did and the feedback that they did. So kudos on you guys, and kudos for fucking caring. This is one of the reasons why we keep doing what we do, and hopefully the right ears are listening, or the right ears get to listen, and they actually listen instead of just judge and scoff, and take this seriously, and we can move forward and actually, make this franchise pretty freaking cool.
Yep. Of course, leave the comments, feedback, everything in the Google document is in the description. Follow our socials.
Keep an eye out for that possible survey, baby. I'm telling you, we definitely need to do that.
Yeah, that survey. Check out my new podcast, Lockdown Player, on Spotify, Apple Podcast, and Amazon Music, where I talk about Call of Duty and so on. Maybe I'll finally force Ray to play Call of Duty so he can join too.
One day, one of these days.
It'll happen. And yeah, that's gonna it. Ray, you want any closing thoughts?
Thank you for your time, as always. Thank you for your feedback. We love you. Good night, everybody.
Have a good day, everyone, and we'll see you on the battlefield.